on the shield like a soft bent nail. Engine knocked like a bottle uncorked. Just paint on the blacktop and tires roll. Used to count the guts like ticker tape June. Now the windshield reads like a dead cartoon. No fleck, no grit, no tick or drone. Just a flickering line and a copper tone. No bugs on the glass, no dance, no sound. No wings like sparks when the sun goes down. Where the dusk once sparked with a firefly rise, now it's guardrails and glass, no trace of flight. Across the savannah, wide and slow, river teeth jagged where it eddies slow. Flowers leaned from gravel and shade, but the sky held flat like it never prayed. Maybe it's a runoff, maybe it's a law, maybe it's fallout nobody saw. Maybe that drift from the mock's melt sway took the color and carried it away. No bugs on the glass, no twitch, no dive. Just a freeway breath trying to feel alive. Where swarms once danced in the amber light, now it's guardrails and glass with no trace of flight. Run these lanes through half-left towns, past silos bent and the earth gone brown. No bugs on the glass, none to send, just tires on tar and the roads on end. No bugs on the glass, no twitch, no dive, just a freeway breath trying to feel alive. Where swarms once danced in the amber light, now it's guardrails and glass with no trace of flight.
Hello everybody, that's a song about no bugs on your windshields anymore.
No bugs on the glass, no twitch, no dive.
Links are in the description or the comments section right now.
Where swarms once danced in the amber light, now it's guardrails and glass with no trace of flight.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We got a big show and crazy stuff to get through. That's no bugs on the glass. And you find it at James Lucid's site on YouTube. He's a company, right? It's Corium Records. He's got post one more video, and he's at 500 of these anti-nuclear songs. Collectively, that's more than the entire planet has produced in history. That's crazy stuff, man. My goodness. Kind of like the poll tonight. That's crazy stuff. Are whale rescue groups prolonging the whales' suffering because they're too emaciated to survive anyway? Should the militaries worldwide now just patrol the coastline with their gunships, and when you see a whale, just kill it right on the spot, just to save it from suffering? That's a question we might actually start saying yes to in the near future. All weekend, all I found was emaciated whales. So I don't even know what to say anymore. We've been covering this for 15 years, right? I've been at it for 25 years, anti-nuclear, but we've been covering the die-offs, we've been doing research expeditions. That blue whale up there, that's absurd. In fact, a lot of the whales, when they're emaciated, they all look kind of the same. I thought that was a tumor. That's actually the rib cage of a humpback whale. Yeah, it's a blue whale up in that corner. But I mean, my goodness, look at that one up there. So all of these are. It's madness now. This is madness, right? And so they mostly eat krill. Well, not mostly, that's what they eat. They eat krill. It takes a long time because they're 100-foot creatures, basically. And it takes a long time for them to lose the body fat, the muscles, the blubber, to where it really is just skin and bones. It's just skin and bones. That's all that's left. And even the skin is showing the emaciation, right? The bones, normally there's a worm, it's known as a zombie worm, that eats or converts whale bones into nutrients for the ocean. That's missing, they're saying, due to a lack of oxygen. Let me put my headphones on, check my audio for a quick second. In recent years, they found that zombie worms were missing in action. When a species is missing, we call it an extinction. I don't say missing in action. Some Hollywood fantasy. Off the coast of British Columbia, which is the Pacific coastline, which is between, the Pacific Northwest, United States coastlines, Canada's coastlines, 27,000 islands, British Columbia, and then it's Alaska. So Canada's in the center, so to speak, right? So if it's true there, it's true everywhere else. I'm probably going to blame it on your tin cans, your pop bottles, and your cardboard, like every other useful idiot on this planet. Under normal circumstances, the larvae floats freely in the water column. Yeah, along with the mussel larvae, the shrimp larvae, the krill larvae, the algae, the 5,000 vertebrates that used to be in the tidal zones, the starfish, the clams, the shellfish, the sea anemones, the sponges, all of the larvae. It was just a big soup of life. A glass of water was 1 billion creatures. Now you can see the bottom. You should never be able to see the bottom. It's not normal. People say, wow, the water's so clear. Yeah, it did. And don't forget, this is applicable to, like the phytoplankton, that's applicable to freshwater too. Bore through the hard exterior of bones, and they convert it. That normally doesn't, well, not normally doesn't break down. That breaks down because that's part of the cycle of life. Right? Every creature out there serves a purpose. And we broke that food chain, well, during the nuclear testing, but Fukushima was a pulse event with 36 reactor cores. Did I get 150 views on my last video of mass species die-off? Everybody's too busy yelling at the control opposition of politics. So they're saying the oxygen, they're blaming it on insufficient oxygen. That's quite, so if insufficient oxygen is going to kill the worms, what else will it kill? Where's the oxygen? The oxygen is created by the phytoplankton, and in a glass of water there's normally 75 to 100 million phytoplankton. The base is the food chain, the oxygen chain, the carbon sequestering chain. And the phytoplankton, of course, is what the krill eat, and the zooplankton. And if that's gone, then the krill's gone. If the krill's gone, the whales show up emaciated. Time of the potential species loss. Well, it's not potential. They're not allowed to use extinction, not allowed to use certain words. Nourishes the seafloor community. Well, so does the soup of life. The soup of life nourishes the seafloor community. Each glass of water got 1 billion creatures. Well, had, before Fukushima. Right, and that would fall to the ocean floor, and the microscopic animals would eat that, and then the bigger animals would eat them, and the bigger animals would eat them, and the shrimp and the crab and everything else, all the way up. And if you break any part of that food chain, and clearly we devastated it with the nuclear industry, idiots. Moron. It's a moron industry, right? The nuclear industry is best described as a moron industry. There's Dana Nasanata. He's usually here. I was doing okay. That man's never taken a day off. It looks like the OMZ expansion, which is a consequence of ocean warming. Ocean warming! You mean Fukushima? Nuclear industry is ocean warming, right? It's atmospheric ocean warming. So this is based on 23 days of radioactive fallout from Japan. This is covering the entire planet. This is the French government. This is 10 million atoms of cesium-137 that each pulse energy almost at the speed of light every second for 600 feet. And you have an invisible snowstorm of that covering the planet. Everybody's like, who cares? Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton's going to be arrested. Woo! You got an extinction event. Where's your priorities? Giant whale carcass spotted at the Devi River mouth. So I was thinking it was the ocean side, but you see the Jagatsingpur? That's way up there. And so that's 3 miles right here. So that's 20 miles up the river. We've never seen nothing like that pre-Fukushima. Drawing attentions from the local residents. Now, this is India or Pakistan, where the average IQ is like 60 or 70 at best. Initial observations of the locals led to speculations it could be a blue whale or a similar large mammal species. So that could be a blue whale. Why did they screw up the color? Why would you do that for? What's the point of that? So the theory is that the devastation, when it's coming out of other countries, it enters into North America. They have software, or they're scanning it, and they'll mess with the quality of that picture. They'll mess with the metrics of those pictures in order to help downplay it. It's just horrific stuff. So I got onto this trail of 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, looking for species. This was an accident, looking for species, whales, die-offs that I haven't covered. We've covered absurd. It's absurd. You don't really expect to find anything, right? Or not anything, but you don't expect to find an overwhelming amount of stuff you haven't covered because we cover so much. Bear with me. Nothing easy in Dana's world. But this is that's a different story. Hang on. So if I triple click, I end up at the bottom of my page sometimes, which in this case is 400 of these clicks away. So I just found my way back up to where I left off up here. So here we go again. So that's another blue whale. I just showed you another blue whale, but much more severe emaciation. That's absurd, folks. Whales, this is not normal. This is what nightmares are made of, for sure. When you're having a look at, I think this one was 2019, this humpback whale, but look at these whales, the emaciation. Just try wrapping your mind around what you're looking at. That bride's whale over there, that's only a week ago. Here's another bride's whale from about 3.5 months ago. 1,800 pounds instead of 90,000 pounds. I touched up these photos because originally these were just from my desktop originally, and because they haunted me so much, because they're poorly put, I can do a lot better job, obviously, right? But why don't you then? Because I'm just a person. I'm worn out. I've been at this forever, and the stress of it. I'm at this because it's an extinction event. How am I supposed to sleep at night if I don't try to... that's a separate whale, right? These are all separate. So these 4 pictures, except for that bride's whale up there, I happen to show more than once, twice I think it is, and the next set too. All these whales are separate. This is jack shit to what I got collected. So now we're seeing every single species emaciated, every single species. But when you're seeing the biggest whales, and there's a lot of fin whales, which is the second biggest species of whales that we're going to be showing you right now. But when you're seeing these, I'm just lost for words, eh? Every single species now is severe emaciation. Elusive pygmy killer whale dies after stranding on a Sydney beach. So some stories I'm just going to... Here's what a healthy one would look like. Right, very, very symmetric, very plumb, right? They don't have sharp features. This one has incredibly sharp features. And you can see the bone structure from very high up the body mass. It's not a good indication. It's just... everything is suspect now, right? And Sydney, of course, you can see where Sydney's too. This is Australia. Do you like squid? in deep ocean waters, like like sperm whales. Quite a few species make whales, and quite a few species love squid, right? Squid's a major migratory keystone species. But you can kind of see the peanut head, right? You can see the incredibly sharp. You can see the incredibly sharp spine when the spine should be really round. See, you know what I mean? That's a healthy ones. What we're looking at is very sharp, which is emblematic of emaciation. But let's keep going. So this got a lot of traction. It's still going viral everywhere right now. And they were making a big fuss because these people they said, well, the whales got diseases and the whales got parasites and humans shouldn't be anywhere near it. So then the question is, how do they do animal autopsies? They're up sitting on the whales. They're no different. They're up standing on the whale. They're desecrating the whale. And they're not including the fact that the food chain is broken. They refuse to tell you. They're trying to blame it on your tin cans, your pop bottles. What makes them any different than these? These are just drunk. These are evil. They refuse to tell you the truth, and that's evil. Just because you got a degree don't mean you're a good person by proxy. They want you to think that way, but that's a serious mistake. Look at the media, beyond reckless. And there was an agenda with this story. They don't want people going close to the whales. They want to keep you away naturally from the whales because you're going to take a picture and you're going to post it. I'm going to find it. This is why they don't want you going there. They're trying to condition you, and they're using that story as a tool. The same industry is telling you Japan reactors never melted down. It's not safe for you to go near it, but it's perfectly safe for them and all their buddies and everybody else to go there. You might get sick, but they're not wearing any special equipment. And there was one abnormality in this picture that you might never notice unless I point it out to you. Is one of these people are not like the other. I can't wrap my mind around what I'm looking at. You see that? Maybe I'm missing something, but you see that one right behind me? Watch this. I'll get up in the center. What the frig is going on with her? What the hell am I looking at? What the hell is that? What is that? Let me back out. Now let me just zoom in and I'll get out of the way. But look at all the other people and then keep coming over to that. Keep coming over to that one. What's different? The waist is super thin, by the way. And the arms are really weird. I don't confuse you. I don't know what it does. It's got a bit of blubber. Look at that. The whale's got blubber. What it is the whale's got leukemia from so much radiation that they die of cancers. Blood cancer, mostly. No, the picture's not AI, no. Well, apparently. Wouldn't surprise me, though. You're right, Darlene. It could be AI. What would be the point of not telling us that? Well, that would account for it, wouldn't it? Or they edited the person out, but whoever it is, they got a pretty skinny waist, don't they? They got no butt, they got no waist whatsoever, in comparison to their big feet and their shoulders. I cover AI. I've made 14,000 pictures of AI. I'm pretty good. I like to believe that that gives me the right to say that I have a better perception than the average person because they haven't created around 14,000 AI pictures. That doesn't mean I'm right. But I don't think that one in particular is an AI picture. But it could be. You never know these days. Beyond reckless, drone fishermen climb onto a dead whale for photos. As viral video triggers outrage. Spread rapidly. Now, there's endless stories about that. I actually put that in the title of my last video. I took it down after about 12 hours. I had no views. But everybody else is viral views, but not mine. Mine's a video. You'd think they get curious. Users focused on ethical concerns. He said the whale deserved dignity after death. Well, if they deserve dignity after death, why you chop them up? You're not real scientists. You refuse to acknowledge radioactive fallout as a factor. You refuse to acknowledge the food chain could be broken. You refuse, and these whales are definitely not super healthy. Around 150 dead olive ridley sea turtles washed ashore up in that same area with that other whale. Washed up dead. According to the locals, yet I'm sure they're all marine biologists on top of that. The local says it's must be plastic or squid nets or something like that. I'm sure all the locals thought that, every one of them. And that's the one they asked that said that that's the one they're going to quote. That's how it works. A whale necropsy insights by a BC marine pathologist. And he's a specialist in whale pathologists and whale necropsies, animal autopsies. So before Fukushima, that would be a ludicrous title to have because it's pretty rare to find one because Mother Nature claims them where he sinks, right? So he butchers the animal, no dignity for the animal. 2 beaked whales washed up in Napier on a consecutive days. Now they mostly eat squid, right? 2 beaked grey whales, I think it is, if I remember correctly. 2 beaked whales on different days, which is New Zealand, right at the very top. They're not even supposed to be there. That's not their habitat, if I remember correctly. They're not even supposed to be there in the first place. Now, I edited some of these pictures. We should be streaming. Hello, everybody. Looks like we got hit by somebody. Yeah. Hello. Call it. Give me a thumbs up. I must be back. Let me just refresh my page here. Yeah. Darlene says I'm back. Everybody says I'm back. Must be true. Here we go. And just bear with me, it takes me a second. We had a few problems at one time, eh? Never seen it before like that. Yeah, hi Dana. Thank you. If you're watching this later, I didn't even disappear. I showed right back up. Okay, thank you, Colette. Yeah, I modified some pictures. That's right. That's not one of them. I kind of deleted the stuff I was. I thought I was still streaming when I was saying I did. I got to clean up my desktop because I had too much going on there. Yeah, this was. I mentioned this. I don't know if it showed up or not, but gray beaked whales. In fact, let me just go grab that part that I might have skipped through. I didn't know I wasn't streaming. And all of a sudden I realized my camera wasn't working either. My camera stopped working. I shouldn't say what happened because if they're hacking me, then they know what they've done, right? But if they're going to hack you, you can't stop those people anyway. So there was quite a few things that just went wrong. If anybody's ever seen my studio, they know that it's a bit of a disaster because I got so much gear going on, right? We're almost there. My apologies. If you've been around, you've been around. You know this is normal, that I have to struggle. Okay, I see what I done. Let's go back to where Colette says I ended where I modified some pictures, which is awesome that you put that comment there because I was struggling to get everything up and working, right? 2 beak whales, that's what we're talking about. And so here you go, this is what we're talking about. I showed that picture, and then I copied it, and then I was using the windows just try to erase people there to try to... I done that with a bunch of pictures that had people in it, trying to get rid of the distraction, so I apologize because it's a learning curve, but I'll try to remember to let you know the difference. There's no reason, if I don't tell you that I had got rid of the people in that picture, I'll feel bad, so I have to tell you that. So there's 2 gray beak whales, grays, beaked whales, had washed up on different days. Very unusual. They don't belong there. Right, their migration doesn't go there. And they eat squid is the biggest part of their diet, and octopus and fish. But squid is probably their biggest, like most of these big species, right? 12,000 miles a year, and that's their migration route. So what the hell are they doing? What are they doing in Napier? Right? They don't belong there. It's just part of that equation, isn't it? 79-foot blue whale hit by a ship. So a blue whale, and I should have AI'd them people out of that picture. I didn't, because I'm just getting used to it, right? So it should weigh 300, because that's almost a full size. So it should weigh 350,000 pounds to 380,000 pounds. That's not a 350,000, 80,000, 380,000 pound animal, first off, or anywhere close to it. But it's not as severely emaciated as the ones I showed you earlier. That don't mean it's not emaciated. And because this one they're saying 79 foot, that's close to the full size, right? Depending on the age group and everything else. So you can say it should be a 300,000 pound creature. So when you're looking at this, does that look like a 300,000 pound creature to anybody? Because you have people in the foreground, so you can judge it a bit better, and people back by you can see people back by the tail. So it gives you a better ability to judge the size of the animal. Once magnificent. They've been a recurring threat to whales around San Francisco Bay. Well, whales don't belong in San Francisco Bay, first off. That's not their normal area. And other large ports. Blue whales, 300 to 400,000 pounds, up to 100 feet for the, much older ones. Their tongues weigh as much as an elephant. So that kind of hopefully gives you some good insight. Here's another blue whale. Does that look like it's a 400,000 pound, 300,000 pound animal to you? Does it look like a 200,000? Does it look like first off, does it look like a 380,000 pound animal? It's clearly a big animal. Okay, so does it look like a 300,000 pound animal? Does it look like a 200,000 pounds? 200,000 pounds is a huge amount of weight. You're talking about a massive amount of weight. Does it look like 100,000 pounds? That's a huge animal. A 100,000 pound animal is a huge animal. It's massive. A 50,000 pound animal, it's massive. It's way bigger than what you're looking at right there. And you can see a person sitting on the back of the whale. That might give you more context of how little the animal actually is, despite the length of it. It's got blubber. It's got blubber. Look at the blubber. There's some blubber there. It's not as big as it should be. But still, again, we don't know if that's AI with these figures. And that's a very unusual picture. When was the last time you seen a picture where the blubber was there? And how many dead whales do we cover in, say, just the last decade? We've never seen a picture like that before. And what are all those people doing? There was a lot of emphasis put on the blubber for some reason. But the one thing about this animal is it's not a 300,000 pound animal. It's not a 200,000 pound animal. It's not a 100,000 pound animal. And then, again, what the hell is that? Which, right, brings more credence to the, because all the other blue whales we're seeing don't have any blubber whatsoever. So this could very well, the whole story could very well be an AI story, right? Cooked up by the public relation firms that are deeply entrenched in the media. So when you're looking at that blue whale there, does it look anything like this one here? Like all the blue whales we're finding have very little blubber or fat left on them. Or any of the whales for that matter. I don't know. I got no idea, but that is very suspect, that picture. Adult female sperm whale, this was 2023, found washed up on the shore. And I think we covered this in 2023 because it looks really familiar to me, but we cover so much. We cover so much every single year. We cover so many dead animals every year, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. Let's keep going for it. I know why we're still here. The only reason we're still here is I wouldn't be here if I didn't get some support. Well, I wouldn't be here actually if I didn't get a lot of support. I wouldn't survive. We wouldn't be able to keep the show operating. Right? The show definitely we would not be here if we didn't get a lot of support. We don't got a lot of support. We got just two people basically, and a scattered one or two other people will chip in a few here and there, right? But my equipment wasn't designed to last all this time. It's not, right? It's breaking down. Everything is breaking down on me. Trying to keep this research and these field studies is a downhill spiral for quite a few years. But experts said the whale was very poorly and underweight. The whale was very poorly. Why would you use those words? If you play them backwards, it probably says, we worship the devil. We worship the devil or something. I never heard the narrative framed that way before. The whale was very poorly. Experts said the whale was very poorly. What does that mean? If you put that, like that's a journalist wrote that allegedly. What kind of framing is that? The whale was very poorly. What, it didn't have any money? Like me, it was broke ass, poor. We got everything is emaciated, everything is dying in mass. Everybody's sick from the nuclear industry, radioactive fallout. We're seeing the biota, the bacteria, the fungus wiped out. We're watching the bases of the food chain, the oxygen chain wiped out. And there's no one out there fighting back. Effectively, right? That's got some traction. Tell me somebody that got traction that's going to do the job. I'll give them all of my equipment, everything I got. And hopefully they'll succeed where I failed. I'm not in this for the glamour. I'm not in this because it's popular. I'm not here because it's fun and easy. I'm definitely not here because it's easy. My bills this month, I just got enough of my pension to cover it. I'm still 120 in the hole. No food. I don't eat nothing for the whole month. And I don't have to worry about buying gas this month because my truck is broke down. It's probably something stupid like a fuel pump, but it's broke down. And just trying to run this show every day with the weight I already got on my shoulders is madness. It's madness, right? Will the world regret the fact that I could wipe this industry out, I can destroy it, and no, we couldn't get any support from big foundations that would fund a proper operation? We should have research teams out there every day reporting back to us, right? I'm too old and busted up and everything else to do things, but I can still coordinate everything. I can organize everything. I can bring the battle to the cowards. Like they've never experienced, I can tell you that much. The whales were very poorly and underweight when it became stranded. It was very poorly. It was dying. It was in its last stages of death throw. It wasn't very poorly. It wasn't even an animal anymore. It shouldn't have even made it that far. It's like me, where you're completely fucked. But yet you keep trying every single second of every single minute of every single hour of every single day of every week of every month of every year. I've never ever... The only thing slowing me down is I don't have a support network. I'm just barely functional. And I could be I'm running at 10% when I should be running at least 70, 80, 90%. And it takes sacrifices to support me for the average person. And I 100% get that. Have no imagination about the facts of that. But there's so many foundations out there that no way exist and won't support me because they're not good entities at all. They'll pay people to attack me, to denigrate me, to write stories or do blogs or just put trolls together or to stalk me or to hunt me in my own community, my own province, my own country. And yet, I know all of this is happening. We have all the evidence, is an absurd amount. And you put them all together, on one side of the football field and me on the other side of the football field and a couple of people that support me. And if we start walking towards them, they'll all defecate all over themselves, and they'll dig down into their pants, and they'll scrape it up in their hands, they'll whip it all over their bodies, hoping that they'll repulse us, that we won't beat the shit out of them because they're too stupid to run away. They're incapable of defending themselves. They're capable of looking anybody in the eye, on top of that. We can look anybody in the eye. We hold our heads up. We're not cowards. And they don't have a right to do what they're doing. They don't have a right to exterminate us and all the species. The world has a right to fight them back. The world has a right to point them out. The world has a right to hold them accountable. The world has an obligation. We're obligated. We have an obligation. Not just from your Magna Cartas or your Bill of Rights or your constitutions, but as an entity on this planet, as a human on this planet, as somebody that covets the species, the air, the plants, the trees, the colors, the seasons, the water. And we're not protecting our water, our precious water on this planet from the radioactive fallout. That's one of the biggest crimes imaginable, that we don't worry about the water. We think the water can take care of itself with all the industry attacking it with pollutions. Water is the essence of all life. We don't have water, we look like the moon. We look like Mars. I don't want to live on Mars. Do you want to live on Mars? Well, you're headed there because of radioactive fallout. Experts said the whale was very poor. It was broke ass like mine. I'm only broke because I dedicated my life to the fight. And because I'm obsessed with fighting for the species, because the industry is so powerful and so absurd, obsessive with anybody shining a light on them. Expert says the whale was very poorly and underweight. What kind of journalist writes a story like this? What part about the whale is, what's so hard about saying the whale is severely emaciated? Like every single whale that we're seeing, it's severely emaciated. What? No. It was very poorly and unhealthy. Underweight. It's missing 85 to 90% of his body mass. Experts. The elite of the elite, the best of the best. The cowards of the cowards have urged people to stay clear of the carcass as an autopsy is planned. You got to stay clear of that carcass. But all the so-called academics and scientists and doctors and necropsy experts and biologists, they can all flock there and stand around picking their nose. And Durka, they'll be fine, but not you, not the mere peasant. They see you as a being. They don't see you as a human. They don't see the animals as animals. They see the animals as a chance to apply to the government for funding to do some so-called studies. These are big lab rats. They know why they died. Their job is to cover it up. Their job is just blame it on your tin cans, your pop bottles, and everything else. To say this animal is poorly, it's poorly. And the first reports were that it was still alive at that point when it came ashore, but it quickly died. Well, it went up there because it was dying. Please do not attempt to approach the whale. Meanwhile, they're all over the whale. Any contact will impair the valuable results to be gained from the full autopsies. So why don't they keep all of these people away and just let a couple of people? Well, they got people everywhere with cameras and people. equipment laid everywhere, people sitting on it, standing on it. They don't see you as a human. They don't see your family, your kids as equal as, or they just see you as an object. You're just, and there's someone that they don't even look at you. They sneer when they look at you. Monday's sighting followed the discovery of a dead minke whale on the North Berwick Beach in Scotland. Figured this would be Scotland or United Kingdom. Whenever you see that kind of hubris, it's usually Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand. This former British monarchy arrogance. The way they sneer. And further further north, whatever the hell north is. The hell is a north, Dan? I don't know. A dead humpback whale was found on a sandbank at Lochfleet Nature Reserve. Usually, like the nuclear dumps, those decades later, they'll call it a nature reserve. Which shows their arrogance and ignorance. Because nature goes there, then you have mutated babies that break the genetic gene pools. Larger stranded animals are classified as royal fish. That's right, the monarchy owns the dead whales and the vomit and the ivory and everything else. The rights to the pictures. On behalf of the Crown, with first claim of the carcass. Oh, now it's a carcass. Now it's not majestic or beautiful. Now it's a carcass. And we know what. But there's a real good possibility this and the blubber is actually AI. And all the stories we've covered, say in the last 10 years, not 5 days a week, have we ever seen a story like this where they're cutting blubbers off and it takes two people and because it's so heavy and so rich. But yet that whale is not a fucking 380,000 pound whale. Or a 300,000 pound, or a 200,000 pound, or a 100,000 pound, or a 50,000 pounder. When that's what it should be, close to 300,000 pounds because it's not a full 100 feet. But it's not that far off it. It's royal fish, and you're royal scum. Last month, a minke whale washed up on the beach, and authorities deal with a 30-ton fin whale. There's a lot of dead fin whales I found a weekend. Holy shit. And none of them are healthy. Look at the peanut head on this feller. Bless his little heart. Dead fin whale washes up on the rocks near Cornwall. That's 2023. But you can see the peanut head, can't you? You can see the unsymmetrical body. The world's second largest animals were shown, and the blue whales, the largest, are all showing up severe emaciation. Both of them are basically dependent upon krill. And krill is one of the most important keystone species. And just remind people you can donate at the PayPal. There's a direct link in my description. Because I got a lot to do to get into a safe zone again where this operation is going to continue. We're barely holding this together. The whole operation is just, we've been ostracized worldwide. Right? On the... Like, they don't come out and say Dana's a liar or Dana has no evidence and here's proof Dana's lying and here's the proof that Dana's not showing you the whole pictures, the whole documentation, that his field studies are flawed. They don't come out and have a conversation. They just assassinate me in comment sections. And they seem to have an unlimited budget to attack me with and destroy me and harass me and stalk me and everything else. They're incredibly organized. But we're running out of time. We are running out of time. And the whales are running out of time. Holy shit. The mammal washed out to sea before a post-mortem could be conducted. You don't need a post-mortem to look at that whale and know it's severe emaciation, like every other whale you're seeing. You don't need an animal autopsy, necropsy, a post-mortem. Initial observation indicated the whale was female in poor nutritional condition. In poor nutritional condition. No, it's not poor nutritional condition. You arrogant prick. It's severe starvation from a broken food chain, and pretending this is not happening is the opposite of a solution, opposite of dealing with our issues, opposite of being adults, opposite of being responsible, opposite of being trustworthy, opposite of being the human experience, opposite and of good. Pretending this, calling it poor nutrition is evil. Saying the animal died because the fucking food chain is broken and starved to death, like all the other ones we're seeing every single story, will help a little bit. That nuclear industry has to fucking go. And it's going to go. That I'll guarantee you. We already made sure that we already set that fucking fire. We've been at this a long time, right? All the policymakers, all the investors for the nuclear industry had to watch our material, at least in the last decade anyway, because there's nobody else out there with an alternative narrative with the documentation, which is heartbreaking. It's not supposed to be that way. The idea of all this work for all these years was to create a whole bunch of educated people that could articulate the issue on the drop of a hat, that had the answers for the lies, that were able to rebuff those lies, were able to beat down the propaganda machine when they come across it, right? To throw a big fucking wrench into that wheel. There you go. Now I descended into swearing. That's not going to help anybody. The piece of shit organization said sightings of large whales, including fin and humpback, were becoming more common along the Cornish coast, but they don't even fucking belong there. Don't forget to mention that part. Oh, well, they're more common. But what do you mean they're more common? Well, they don't belong here. Oh, well, why didn't you fucking say that? Oh, no, sorry, poor nutrition condition. You know, starvation, right? Another dead fin whale, not very healthy. Now, fin whales are the greyhounds of the sea, right? They're heavy animals. They might be the greyhounds, very thin looking, you know, considering their length and everything, but they still have tonnage. And it's easy to see when the tonnage is not there. And that's what we're seeing. That's not one of the... We have so many terrible examples. Is a fin whale. We've seen a lot of dead fin whales. Now, whether there was any underlying issues with the whale. We don't know whether the whale was struck. What do you mean? Why does every whale have to be fucking struck? There's very few whales that are struck by ships each year, by the way. The total since 2007 is around 1,200. Not every one of them would have died. That don't account for 14,000 dead grey whales. I don't account for the 7,000 dead humpback whales in 2016 alone. They didn't die of ship strikes. And then a piece of shit media, every one of them without fail, will, even though there's no proof of it, right, they'll put that conjecture, unnecessary conjecture, opinion, into that narrative. A 30-ton dead whale buried at a landfill site, 30 tons. 52 feet long. It's a fin whale. And it should have weighed a lot more than that. And Scotland, again. Sightings of the whales around Scotland are rare. That's not the word. It's unheard of. pre-Fukushima. In 2018, an adult and juvenile fin whale were spotted in one of the channels. Whale removal, a challenging operation. Look at a peanut head, though. Right? That's clear as shit, a peanut head. To believed to be a fin whale. The second largest creatures after the blue whale. When the tide goes out, you get a good look at it. He's upside down, but you start realizing this is severe emaciation. They ask people to stay away and avoid contact with the carcass. It's such an arrogant thing, isn't it? Because they get out there and do their animal necropsies, they never have an issue. But if you go there, they're rare off the coastline. Yeah, they don't want good pictures because they only give you certain angles. Because if you get the right angle, you'll know whether the animal... It potentially may have been struggling to feed. Really. Although there's quite a food source out there. Why would you put that there? Why would you even mention that? Why would that even... I thought it'd be a ship strike. Because that's not a... Right, you notice the picture they originally showed you? See this one here? That's probably not even the same fucking whale. Look at it. It's not the same whale. So was there two whales? But that ain't the same whale as this one right here. I can tell you that much right fucking now. You tell me. Is that the same whale? Let me give you a better one. That one there. Is that the same whale as you show you later in the story? That's not the same fucking whale. Is it? Because that's the real whale. That's an artificial AI one. Don't say they don't got AI. Don't go there. Don't do that to me. The sighting of a journalist is very fucking rare too. It potentially may have been struggling to feed. Well, when you're looking at that whale, you're not saying that. Even though it's got a peanut head, you're still not going to think that. But if you look at this fucking whale right here, the next picture, that one's struggling to feed. These are scumbags. And so why would you even put that there? There's quite a food, why would you even frame it that fucking way anyway? Although there's quite a food source out there. Who the fuck talks like that? Although there's a lot of food out there. You know, why would you frame it that way? Are you trying to make the person trying to understand the story fucking stupid or something? Andy Heights from the Council of Environmental Services, a.k.a. moron, estimated the carcass weighed up to 30 tons. Well, it should weigh a lot more than that. It should weigh like up to 80 tons, 120 tons. Should weigh up to 120 tons, but, lots of food out there. So if there's lots of food out there, why was it struggling to fucking feed? And why does it look like that? I apologize. Problem is, once I start ranting, unfortunately, the brain goes into that mode all of a sudden, and I apologize. Like, I'm desperate to go to war. I'm fucking desperate every day to go to war against this industry. I'm desperate to fucking bring the fight to them. I'm desperate to litigate them into the courts. I'm desperate to go after these fuckers like you can't even imagine. And so, if I don't ask for the world to fucking support me, then most likely the world will never support me. If I don't ask, at least my brain can say, well, Dana, you asked, at least you fucking tried. If I sit in silence, it's never going to happen. If I don't push, if I don't force this show, Like, a lot of times I'll post, I don't post a show till the last couple of hours because I don't know if I'll fucking do the show or not because I'm worn out, I'm burnt out, I'm sitting there I'm depressed from all these fucking dead whales all weekend. But I'm thrilled that I found them. I can acknowledge they existed and that we need to kind of have a conversation about it. It's a 55-foot animal. Well, you can't fucking believe anything they tells you. It could be 65 foot. They're most likely to try to downplay it. That's right. They didn't show you that picture. That's the same fucking whale that they're now claiming looks like this. I know it doesn't help, but I feel better sometimes when I... So if they grow 120 fucking tons, what the hell is this? That's not 60 tons. That's not fucking 30 tons either. That's severe emaciation. Yeah, they're the greyhounds of the sea, but they're not emaciated greyhounds of the sea. After becoming stranded. To show you that, why are you showing us this picture? Even that picture looks emaciated, but that's what it actually looks like. And that's clear, unquestionably, severely emaciated. Is potentially struggling to feed. Well, that fucker there is not struggling to feed per se. What? But the same whale you show us in the next picture, which is the actual real picture, not a fucking AI like this one. And it's from BBC. What do you expect, I suppose, Dana? It's true. It's a good point. Beyond reckless, the drunk fisherman climbed onto a dead whale for photos as the viral video triggers outrage. I couldn't trigger too much outrage. I posted a video about it and nobody watched it. Changed the name. And even then, nobody watched it. That was part 1 of this video right here, which is part 2. Yeah, that was weird. Weird is when you try to do the moral thing. You're a fucking weirdo. If you try to do the moral thing, that means you're a weirdo. I'm proud to be a weirdo, but no, I want to go to war so bad for so long. I'm so ready. I'm so geared up for it. It's time. It's time to take the nuclear industry down. It's time to hold them accountable. It's time to fucking call them out. It's time to get in their fucking faces. It's time to push back. It's fucking time. Ask any of the whales out there, when should we do it? And they'll tell you, what are you fucking waiting for? Are whale rescue groups prolonging the whale's suffering because they are too emaciated? Don't criticize me. I only had 100 characters that I can use in the poll, right? And I was 101, so I took away O. I took away our O. Because they are too emaciated to survive anyway. Right? They should have gunships out there now. So when you see the whale on the beach and he's alive, you can use the big military gunships and just crack a couple of 155-millimeter depleted uranium rounds through his skull, and that'll be the end of his suffering. And don't worry about depleted uranium, low-level radioactive material contaminated the beaches. There's nothing on the fucking beaches anymore anyway, because you kill it with radioactive fallout. You might as well finish it. It's too bad your families and your friends and your children and your aunts and uncles and cousins don't find my videos and realize what kind of fucking monsters you people are in the nuclear industry. It's too bad, because they'll know you're a monster right away, forever and ever and ever. I don't care what you does to me. You already destroyed me anyway with your propaganda. Beyond reckless, drunk fisherman climbs onto a dead... Beyond reckless, this was an agenda, right? This video, this story was posted by all the media with an agenda. Disgust the internet. Really? And all the fake scientists lying about Fukushima radioactive fallout, doing the same fucking thing. and then stealing money from the taxpayers in order to fund everything they're doing. They're not bad people. A lot of them were linking back to that wacko right there for some reason. Drunk fishermen pose for dead whales, sparks outrage. They're trying to create the outrage is what you're seeing with all of these stories, folks. Clout chasing, arguing that the men showed a total lack of respect for the animals. Really? Have you seen what fucking scientists do to animals, you piece of shit? Have you seen what the government does to the animals? Have you seen what the academics are doing to the fucking animals? Right? And all of these stories, though, all of these medias are fucking medias I never even heard of before. It's even more insane, but they're everywhere. I was like, you two-faced, no good, double, strong reaction poured in online, but they were sitting on the whale because they're drunk and they're stupid. So what? Not like every fucking drunk person is going down and stealing boats and running out and jumping on fucking whales or something. One user said a reckless moment turned into a viral reminder that nature deserves respect. If it deserves respect, why are you chopping them up like a fucking pizza on the beaches for? Why are you going to lug away these big chunks? What is the benefit academically of lugging away these great big fucking chunks? Because that's an AI picture. That's not even a real fucking picture. Darlene got it right. She fucking nailed it, man. That's an AI picture. Yeah, I kind of helped a little bit with the weirdo I showed you. That's what I wanted, somebody to draw the conclusion without me saying it. One user said a reckless moment turned into a viral, and no, I didn't put that in the picture. You can go to the website. I showed you the headlines. You go find it and look at it yourselves. Because the industry will go like, hey, put that in there. They'll do whatever it takes for them to be able to sleep each fucking night, including kill your loved ones. One user said, what do you think they're doing in the hospitals with radiation besides killing your loved ones? You really think that's a fucking cure? You really think you're benefiting someone you love by liquidating your assets, take them to a hospital, let them inject radiation and bombard them with neutron beams? You think that's fucking love or something? You delusional fuckers, man. Get your shit together. Fight back. The industry can only do what it's doing because nobody fights back. Everybody's too busy screaming at Trump like that's going to solve it. Did you scream for how long at Biden? How long did you scream at Obama? They screamed at Bill Clinton. They screamed at George Bush. It didn't. It's meant to be that way. Trump was reelected because everybody already likes to scream at him. So you don't look at stuff like this. A reckless moment turned into a viral reminder that nature deserves respect. A viral reminder. The only reason, and it's not really a viral reminder, it's just a whole bunch of weird media ran with that story and framed the narrative that way. If you're going to look at people on whales, you'll find thousands of pictures of stupid people on beaches, on boats, sitting on a fucking whale. Why was this story? And then the other narrative, of course, with dead whales is always don't go near the whale. Stay away from the fucking whale. You're going to ruin this site. Stay away from the whale. They don't want you taking pictures of the whale. They don't want you there taking pictures that'll contradict their narratives when people like me find it. And I'm out there all the time on the fucking prowl looking for this stuff because I can't go to war against the industry because the world won't friggin' doesn't know I exist and can't support me. The world would support me if they could find me. And we've been at this a long time, so it's not going to happen unless we make it happen. I'm doing my part as much as I can. I'm doing everything I can. You'll never fucking find anybody in the future, included, more dedicated than I am. You'll never find them. It doesn't exist. I'm born and bred to fucking go to war against this industry and evil wasn't supposed to be a factor. Beyond reckless. Did they seriously know what can happen with decomposing whale? Whale is not a joke. Being drunk doesn't make a biohazard any less messy. So when you post narratives like that, right, and then their next door they're going to show you animal autopsies of people all around the whale, chopping whales up, and not wearing any kind of respiratory equipment or anything else, you got to wonder, is a biohazard the actual real reason? And again, clearly this is not a real picture. And it's like this one. They show you that picture, but the rest of the pictures are a different animal, aren't they? What a piece of shit industry, man. What a piece of shit industry to post a fake picture as the first picture. Because most people just read the headlines, right? I suspect the day is coming when a journalist will need a security guard, a security detail every fucking where they go, because the world will understand that evil is real. Beached whale in New Jersey. This was 2023, January. 7 whales were found in New Jersey, New York in a little over a month. I mean, if you want to call whatever the fuck that is a whale, I suppose. That's not like a 50, 60 ton animal anymore. That's just a lump of skin and bones, right? You know, most likely the entire week is probably going to be die-offs because I can't keep up with them. You got any idea how fucking depressing that is for me? Does anybody really understand how much I hate doing these videos? The whole process is traumatic, eh? I'd like to see him get the fucking blubber off that whale. There's some serious magic right there. I see David Blaine do that one. I know. If I wasn't such an asshole, I'd have 17 people on my show instead of 16, right? If I wasn't trying to do something good, I might have 20 people on my show, Dana. Why is it all the stupidest people on the fucking planet on YouTube there? You got thousands and thousands of fucking people there waiting for the live show to start. Then all of a sudden it's 10,000. 5 minutes later it's 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 people on their live show. Everybody yucking up. And the people in the videos are the most egotistic, self-centered, boorish, bizarre fucking creatures you'll ever meet. If you took those same people and gave them something good, bye-bye, all kinds of evil will have to go deep underground and hide away for 1,000 fucking years. Are whale rescue groups prolonging the whale's suffering because they are too emaciated to survive anyway? That's a big roger that. Well, what's the other narrative, I wonder? Injuries and hemorrhaging were observed on the head and the thorax region. Really? You were able to observe that, were you? I'm looking at the same whale, am I? Is that the same fucking whale? Does that look like it's, fucking 60, 70 tons, 50 tons, 40 tons, 30 tons, 20 tons, 10 tons? 5 tons maybe at best on a good day, soaking wet, fully hydrated. That's severe emaciation. Yeah, but I got hit in the fucking head, Dana. It's Associated Press, one of the biggest medias on the planet. It's immediately regurgitated to 1,500 medias through the spider bots on the websites that automatically aggregate the stories with copyright law, with copyright freedom, right? So that same headline with the same pictures will immediately shows up worldwide. And of course, a lot of those medias have same type of scenario where all kinds of medias will aggregate their stories instantly with spider bots, and within 30 millimeters of a second, the stories out there on 40,000 web pages. And then people looks at the whale, and they have no concept of left, right, center. And then the biologists, the government-funded idiots, are happy to sell our souls, their souls, and everybody else's souls, so they can pretend to their friends and families that they have some important fucking job or something. The whole system's ran like that. The whale had been actively feeding prior to the injury. See that top of the page? That whale was actively feeding. Dana said, shut the fuck up. Mom, Dana's full of shit. The whale was feeding. It was in the story. The journalists won't lie to us. Dana, though. The bastard. You liar, fucking Dana. Injuries and hemorrhaging. The very top sentence. The whale had been actively feeding. That whale here. That whale right there was feeding. When you're that emaciated, it doesn't matter. Not that it was, but if all the other whales are emaciated and died of starvation, and this, like if anybody, any academic on the planet pre-Fukushima, you show them that picture and they say that's severe emaciation. Every academic on the planet after, well, he was feeding pretty good to the injuries. You got hit by a fucking ship. Look at him. Bizarre. It's one of the most bizarre. I gotta have one of the most bizarre fucking jobs on the planet. Like, every day is like a fucking bizarre, nightmarish. Thank God I don't cover politics and all the other bullshit. The whale was 32 feet 7 inch. 32 feet 7 inches. Really. How the fuck did you determine that again? You went there with a measuring tape and measured it, did you? You sure it wasn't 32.6 inches? No, it was 32 foot 7 inches. And it weighed about 12 fucking tons. That don't weigh 12 tons. That don't weigh. Like saying that weighed 25,000 pounds is absurd. And maybe 5 tons. That'd be a far cry from the truth, too. And at that size, it should weigh at least 35, 45 tons, right? Like the size of like the body mass of a pickup truck or something. It was apparently in good condition, judging by the thickness of his blubber. It's in good condition, is it? The whale's stomach was full of partly digested fish. Well, if that was true, why don't you show us pictures to quantify those types of assertions, right? And there was fecal matter in the intestines, really. All of that from a fucking picture. So here you can see I removed her from the picture. Because you can kind of see like the little bit I left there. I'll put her back in the picture there. Did I get rid of her shadow too? I'm learning. I'm going to start doing that with all the pictures. Just get rid of the distractions, right? All the focus should be right there. And whatever scientists have said, there was fecal matter in the intestines, had partially digested fish. And it was actually, what kind of fish? What was it? Fucking tuna? Halibut? What was it? Because they just wrote those words. They don't have it. There was no academic. There was no fucking necropsy, animal autopsies. It was actively feeding. They should fucking feed you to the animal, whoever wrote the story. alive. The animal was alive when it came ashore. It could have been hungry. But to suggest that this animal was healthy, was actively feeding, had a full fucking stomach and healthy blubber. Saying vessel strikes and fishing gear are the largest known human threat to whales, except that of course is not. Of all species. Yeah, the whales, late post-Fukushima, since Fukushima, all whales are attacking boats and getting ran over. That's what's going on. They're blaming the boats and they get them. The Marine Mammal Stranding Center. Pre-Fukushima, you didn't need a Marine Mammal Stranding Center. Now every fucking coastal community, little tiny village got one. Sunday, the preliminary results of the necropsy on the humpback, if calling that a humpback is bizarre because there's nothing left there, indicate the animal had blood trauma injuries consistent with those from a vessel strike. Yeah, well, show us the picture then, you fucking moron. The largest known threat to whales of all species, Dana. There was speculation about whether the whale's death are linked to wind energy development. Because when they're breaching out of the ocean, they get attracted to the big windmills, Dana, and it's absurd to even suggest that a windmill had something to do with it. They migrate 12,000 kilometers past the windmills, and now the windmills is what killed them. Because they compete with nuclear industries, right? Among the 7 whale deaths in a little over a month in a place where they don't belong and they're all emaciated. I apologize again. I'm sick of fighting like a dog every day and the industry's getting away with it. We need to win. We need to get in their faces. We need to fucking rough them up a bit. We need to call them out every time we see the fuckers. They need to be held to a very high standard that they can't possibly sustain. So they're all dying from ship strikes. Every fucking species, Dana. Okay, well, there you go. You wouldn't lie to me, would you? This story in 2023, March, about a boat being attacked by a killer whale. There have been about 1,200 reports of whales and boats colliding since the worldwide database launched in 2007, the International Whaling Commission, Kate Wilson. Collisions that cause significant damage are rare. So if there's 1,200 reports of whales and boats, why is every fucking emaciated whale automatically conflated with a ship strike? Because your journalists are the least trustworthy people on the entire friggin' planet. See what Philippines found inside the belly of a dead whale. This was a fun story. They forgot to mention a dead, severely emaciated sperm whale. This is an emaciated sperm whale. You can see the significant peanut head. You can see no muscles around their face. And why show us this type of... And then he show you a plastic fucking bag on his lower mouth. These people are idiots, eh? That's the proof, folks, that the whale died of plastic. Mind you, the Philippines is just shocking amount of poison, right? But this whale die of obesity? Mass grey whale strandings may be linked to solar storms. And they show you one of the most severely emaciated whales you're ever going to see. It takes like 1.5 years, 2 years to get that severely emaciated. Because the ocean is able to hold a weight. But eventually when there's only bones and skin like you're seeing right fucking there, a few organs, I think what it is where we lost the internet, we lost my fucking camera. There's a few other things I don't want to say because if they're hacking me, I don't want to acknowledge what they've done. And we had to get the stream up and running again. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, like the fin whales, the beaked whales, they're microscopic eaters. They're down by the basis of the food chain. This is a gray whale. There's 14,000 gray whales died post-Fukushima. That's over 50% of the whales, current gray whales. All of them were emaciated. Last year headed north to Alaska, to the Baltic. And when they were heading to their southerly run last year, to Baja, California, they were severely emaciated before they even fucking got there and turned around and headed south. When they left south this last year, in the fall or summer, late summer, right when they left the breeding, they were severely, severely emaciated at that stage. They were showing up emaciated, dead everywhere, and they were trying to, this is some of them, not this one in particular, I don't think. When's this story? 2020. A new study suggests there could be a link between solar storms, mass strandings of gray whales. Well, they're suggesting that the gray whales are the only whales that are, 70 emaciated gray whales. Biologists are probing the death. Really? I never heard nothing of it ever after. Each year, gray whales travel 16,000 kilometers along the Pacific coast from Mexico to Alaska and back. So north to Alaska, south to Baja, California. But every so often, I love this, many of them, sometimes hundreds, become stranded. What the hell? What the hell is that? Many of them, sometimes hundreds, become stranded, sometimes. Every so often. Every so often, they become severely emaciated and stranded. So look at this one here, and that's a gray whale, and that's a gray whale. That's considered emaciated right there. Look at this gray whale. That's severe, isn't it? That's last stage. Even though that's last stage here. A new study published with the journal Current Biology, like Elsevier, Springer, and Wiley has 20,000 journals. 20,000. And they get all of their studies for free, paid for by the taxpayers, but then it's locked behind a paywall. And so the universities don't have access to every one of those studies. They pay $1 million or $2 million a year to get access to some studies. At one of the journals, not the 20,000 accumulative journals. There's 4.3 million studies every year. Many of them are the same. People can't get access to the other studies because they're locked behind the paywalls of Elsevier, Springer, and Wiley, who didn't pay a nickel for it and charges everybody to look at it. In some of their journals, they charge $50,000 just to peruse the science section. Just to go in and boo around, look for studies they want to purchase temporarily. They can't buy it and own it unless it's one of those propaganda studies. Lord knows there's lots of them. So it wasn't starvation. I mean, if they had to live for another couple of days past the solar storm, yeah, they would have washed up dead. But they didn't, so it was the solar storm that killed them, Dana. Screwed up their navigation. Before they died of severe emaciation, they would have lived another couple of days or weeks, Dana. So yeah, the study's right. It was the solar storms. Yeah, they were going to die because they starved to death. There's no species out there. But the gray whales, all the gray whales, because there's so many of them washing up, there's their fall guy. They're going to blame it on solar storms. They needed a fall guy because the scientists didn't want to have that conversation with anybody. Season-long fishing closures possible under new protection for endangered whales. Season-long closures. Well, the problem is they're showing up in places they never showed up before. There was never a conflict before Fukushima, now there is. Because they're going to places in desperation looking for food. This is a right whale. Yeah, North Atlantic right whale. And they're showing up in places they don't belong. In Canadian waters, well, this is their normal migration route you're looking at right there. But they're showing up in the St. fucking Lawrence. They don't belong there. Looking for the krill, which are chasing the phytoplankton, the zooplankton. Large sperm whale carcass washes up near Nelson. Look at the body on that. That's severe emaciation. Likely died of natural causes, Dana. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. How come we only get these crappy pictures? You know why? Because you tell people, stay away from the whale. It's okay for them. Stay away from the whale. For health reasons. Well, if there's health reasons, why are they showing us these AI pictures like that? Or there's alleged animal autopsy. That's clearly not real. This is an AI picture. We know it's an AI picture. We know it's an AI picture. I'll show you why. I'll show you why. Maybe. I deleted all that. Lucky for me, I got a time machine. Lucky for Dana, I got a time machine. I can get all my pictures. Maybe not so lucky. Oh, I am lucky, yeah. That's so strange, eh? Bear with me. There we go. So you see that picture there? That looks pretty reasonable. You see that picture? Everybody looks kind of normal except for one person. That one right there. That, whatever the fuck that is right there. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's some creepy. I'll tell you that much. So if you got to stay away for health reasons, why is everybody allegedly stood up there, which is clearly an AI picture? The government advised people to keep away from the whale. Do not touch it for health reasons. Have you ever heard of a fucking person on the planet that got sick from being in proximity of a whale? This whale is emaciated. Sadness is a huge 70-foot sperm whale found washed up on Durnford Beach. 70 feet long and only weighing 25 tons. 70 foot and weighs 25 tons. Should weigh double that. And that's how large the largest you get. That one was 70 foot. Sperm whale. The largest one out there was 78.7 feet, 55 tons. Females are like 45 feet, so it's not a female. Let's have a look at this massive whale. Whatever the hell is that? Is that a piece of tarp or something? Oh, Dana, don't me. That's a whale. I'm only asking. Don't look like any whale I ever seen. Before Fukushima, that is. Since Fukushima, they all kind of looking the same now. Late stages before they die. Maybe sand got stuck in his gills and blocked them. There you go. Now leave the computer alone, honey, before your mommy's boyfriend sees you and kicks the shit out of you. Or it was hit by a rock. You think I'm kidding, right? No. It was hit by a rock. Or maybe the whale was hit by a rock. That cheered me up today when I seen that. I was like, yeah, that's proof academics are assholes and stupid. Like, I know people that went to universities, got multiple degrees and PhDs, but didn't try to go looking for a job, didn't apply for a job, were happy in the universities. They were happy being teacher's pet. They were a great teacher pet. They can regurgitate all the textbook, almost fucking page by page. Even if you poked them in the eye and they couldn't use their other eye because they're too busy rubbing that eye, they can still regurgitate the whole fucking page. I'm not kidding you. And they needed somebody to tie their fucking shoes every morning when they were 35 years old so they could go back to university to get another degree. And the industry will pick those people up and weaponize them against you because they love being the pet, and the industry loves having pets, humans that is. A number of people are visiting the site, but people have been advised to stay away from the dead animal. You forgot to tell these fucking jokers. A dead whale so thin its ribs were sticking out. Oh, it's way worse than that. I can honestly say I don't remember seeing their eyes look like that for some reason. I don't mean they don't, but I think it's because they're so emaciated he looks like that or she looks like that. A 10-ton beach sperm whale, which should weigh over 50 tons, was so thin when it died his ribs were sticking up from his side. That's why 35.5 feet long. And look at this thing. And they were originally thinking it might be a cancer tumor or something growing off it. But it's so emaciated, right, in that position, the rib cage, that there's no muscles, there's no fat, there's no fucking blubber, there's no nothing, just skin, and the skin just sunk right down. I mean, if it died at sea, it would have just sank, right? They said it had consumed a small number of squid beaks. Well, normally the squids that they eat are massive squid. And so you wouldn't have a whole bunch of beaks in there. Or a small number of beaks even, right? This animal was too fucked up to dive to the depths that it normally has to dive to. Go to a severely emaciated person and put $1,000 in a satchel and hang it from a tree a mile up the road and tell them they got 15 minutes to get there. They'll never make it. Same as that whale. It's not going to get to its food source, in other words. I guess that's a poor way to explain it. So there was little evidence that it had eaten plastic. That's a relief. I wish you'd eat a whole bunch of fucking plastic. That it had eaten plastic, other debris, bar a few fragmentary pieces. Oh, it has some plastic. Really? You think you're surprised that it might have had fucking plastic? In desperation, it ate some plastic? Would you fucking eat plastic if you were starving to death and your rib cages were sticking up like that? You seen it? There was no food. And finally you seen something that even looked like fucking food? We were concerned about a potential tumor mass on its side. Surprised to find on the side this was actually the ribs protruding from the body. It suffered significant muscle wastage and was the thinnest sperm whale it ever worked on. Oh, that's because you don't travel very far. They're everywhere now. It was consistent with a marked nutritional loss and live stranding. So it was alive when it came ashore. Of course it was. You don't need to know that. Like if you find it up on the beach like that, you know it came ashore alive, because if it died at sea, it would have sank like a fucking rock. There's no muscles, there's no fat, there's no blubber to give them buoyancy, right? Live stranding. The whale was far from home. On top of that, it didn't belong anywhere in that part of the country, the continent. Nothing else on the beach. No birds on the fucking beach. Usually the predators, you might be there, but the predators are waiting for you to get out of the way. And what was interesting about that picture too, let's go back to those, remember the big eyeball? That shouldn't have existed. That should have been the first thing that went, was the big eyeball, right? So did they paint that eyeball on there with our AI or something? Because that don't even look right, does it? That eye should be gone anyway. I've never seen a whale with a fucking eye that big before. Let me look up sperm whale right quick here. I'll bring it up on the screen for you. Hopefully I'm wrong. Nothing surprises me anymore with the industry. The industry's so evil. Yeah, that didn't look right to me either. Sperm, I'll bring it up on the screen for you here, actually. Some point. Then bring it up on the screen. You're going to bring it up the screen. Stop fooling around. All right, hang on. So there's a sperm whale eye. Look at that. Right now we find the proper picture. I mean, a journalist is somebody you should just absolutely have nothing but fucking contempt for. Do I even do that right? Yeah, sperm whale eyes. Well, anyway, you can see that picture up right there, right? You're killing me, eh? Hang on. So when you look at that eye, and you look at this eye, can you tell the difference? Oh, I can't tell the difference. Well, first off, I don't think that's a sperm whale, do you? That's a good point. Hang on. You got me on that one. Let's try this again. Sperm whale. You know what a sperm whale's mouth looks like, right? It's a humpback whale, not a fucking sperm whale. Why do you show me all the humpback whales for? Do you know what a sperm whale looks like? There's a funny one right there. Thank God somebody out there knows how to label a whale. I can't get my... Okay, so that's a sperm whale, and that's a sperm whale. It's a big difference in the eyes, isn't it? Does that make sense? Is there anything actually makes sense anymore? Okay, that's a sperm whale eye, and that's a sperm whale eye. Am I in the fucking Twilight Zone or something? That's a sperm whale eye, that's a sperm whale eye. I can't tell the fucking difference. That's what the journalist told. So they painted that eye on that dead whale. You got a big fucking rib cage sticking right out of the skeleton. It's got a skeleton, bones, and some skin, but it's got no muscle, no fat. Well, the industry is insane. The journalists are insane. The journalist is the weirdest, bizarre, besides nuclear academic or nuclear scientist, the most bizarre fucking creature imaginable. Got big tumors, big rib cages sticking up, check. Okay, yeah, he died of ship strike. That's a ship strike I ever seen one. I think the fucking ships are chasing the whales down because there was this skipper one time, and he was trying to dump his garbage over the side of the boat like they all do, or nuclear industry and military and that. And there was a whale there, and he threw a rock and hit the whale, and the whales got together like they do every year to celebrate Whale Day. And everybody passed around a telekinesis picture to all the other whales to find, because they can't see 100%, so all humans look the same as the skipper that threw the rock at him, hit him in the fucking head. Oh, da, 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 da. Where am I to? What am I doing? I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get through all of this shit we got. All the dead whales we got. I apologize. No, like if everything didn't go south halfway through the show tonight, or whatever the frig we got done tonight. What the hell is this, Dana? I don't know. It's another one of those. It was in his death throes. Really? It was in the death throes, you say? And you lying sack of shit. It looks perfectly healthy. They just forgot to paint the big fucking eye on his head like the other whale. Is this a blue whale? I can't remember. They all look the same now, right? It was reportedly in the death throw when a medic, a whale medic. Yeah, whatever gets you to sleep at night, I suppose. That body looks perfect, symmetrical to me. It doesn't look like any emaciation going on there, besides, the peanut head and the rib cage is sticking out and the fucking spine sticking up. Looks pretty normal to me. Does the nuclear industry deserve to be held accountable? That's the only question this planet needs to ask themselves. If it does, who are you gonna get to coordinate the prosecution? If you're gonna prosecute this industry, make sure you call my fucking number. I want in. I want to hold these fuckers accountable more than anybody today in the history past or the future will ever want to hold them accountable. There's nobody on this planet that hates this industry more than I do. There's a couple of close seconds out there, but a whale is washed up on a rocky beach in Cornwall while still alive. That was still alive, eh? Nobody knows how, but it was still alive. We think it was hit by a ship, though, Dana. And the British Divers Marine Life Rescue, these are fucking scumbags, eh? The animal was in the death throes. It was in the death throes before it got to the fucking beach. A live stranded whale. Go figure. No one knows how it survived that long. That is heartbreaking to look at. Look at that, man. Holy shit. That peanut head, that's no getting away from that one. The shoulder blades are sticking right up. The rib cages. If you were there, you can count the rib cages, piece of cake. Look at the spine, though. There's no muscle matter. There's no water, no nothing along the spine. It retains... It retains fresh water along that spine for hydration, right? It aggregates it there. But look at that peanut head. Holy shit, boy. And the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades are ready to break through the skin. There's no muscle. There's no fat. There's no... Well, they all look like that now, so that's probably normal. The nuclear industry, well, it's normal. They all look like it. There's nothing wrong with that. They all look the same, so they're normal. It would have been thrashing and beating its flukes on the rocks, creating a horrific noise like thunder. No, it was like... It's not like thunder, it's like, boy. The fin whale. Also gave signs it's not eaten for some time. Gee, I wonder what that sign was. It wasn't eaten from some time. Why did it take them so long to mention that? Why did he wait till way down in the story? Why are they so fucking dark all the time? And not eaten for some years. It's the second biggest fucking whale on the planet. Dana, you're just a drama queen, Dana. So what if all the whales are emaciated? All the grizzly bears and all the polar bears are showing up severely emaciated. So what? Sweet, I got 21 likes. Took me 2 days to get that many likes in my last video. That's pretty good. That was a win. I'm deeply moved by the 21 thumbs up. That I know I got more than that, right? People are trying, but I'm deeply moved that they're sleeping on the job at night and hasn't censored me completely off the internet. 14 people on probably one of the most important videos in human history. You know, if you think that the species are cool. I posted the video, my last video, up on my BitChute channel, and I got a comment right away. Was fuck the whales. Who gives a shit? I was like, yeah, you're pro-nuclear. Why even show up in my fucking video with that attitude, right? Of course, they have a ghost account. The hell is a ghost account? Fuck if I knows, man. They had spotted the animal earlier in the day swimming near them while out at sea. It was wonderful to see her alongside of us. We were thrilled. It was amazing. How can you look at that whale swimming alongside and not appreciate the fact that it was fucking severely emaciated? Like all the whales. It should weigh from 65 to 80 fucking tons. It should weigh, well, it could easily weigh 160, 170,000 pounds. Instead, it weighs maybe 7,000 pounds. Over and over. How many fucking dead whales do you need to see like this to be before the world is concerned, I wonder? I've been at this all weekend. Well, I was on the skidoo for a little bit. And we got more snow coming this week starting. It's bitter fucking cold. Holy gee. I finally had to say, well, I got to turn the heat on everywhere because everything's going to freeze up on me. I couldn't get my back door to open the handle. The door, the lock in the handle was frozen. So, like, if that happens, one of the things, because I got a sliding window, you can lift the window up, right, and pour hot water over it to get out. Can't even do that because that's frozen. Minus 25. It's just bitter cold. It's just can't get it out of my body. I'm the chill. I'd not eaten for some time. You do tell. I'd not eaten for. They had spotted the animal earlier in the day swimming near them while out at sea. So it should weigh 140, 150,000 pounds if you put it at 73 tons. So even if you only go at 73 tons instead of 80, there's a few tons of bones and skin there, but there's no muscle, there's no body fat, there's no blubber. It was found with plastic in the stomach. Although this was not thought to have been deadly, authorities says. So why did you even bring it up in that fucking case for? Well, because like the average person looks at it and don't understand that that's severely emaciated. That's last stage emaciation. They died because the food chain is broken. They're dependent upon krill. Who else is dependent upon krill? Quite a few species. They're the second biggest species of whales, and then the blue whales is completely dependent upon the krill. So if they're showing up in the air, the fin whales, in mass, severe severe, absurd, unbelievable, inconceivable. It's inconceivable. This is inconceivable stuff you're looking at. Last show and this show. This is just unbelievable. Then all the blue whales, you can expect to find them the same. Huge whale found dead in Cornwall. Huge whale. Authorities urged the public to avoid the area. Don't go near the whale. We're the government. We're here to help you. Look at the peanut head. And so I think this picture, there was people there, and I washed them into the picture so you can hopefully get more detail. Yeah, you can see the rib cage, right? See the rib cage up there above the 10? Let's get the picture. Yeah, you can see the rib cage up right there. So let's go back and look at the original picture they got for the cover story. There's this one here. Look at it. Look how big of a belly it got on it. Massive belly, right? But here, look at this one. I suppose it could be. At least he didn't paint the big stupid fucking eye on it anyway. That's a win. That irritated the fuck out of me seeing that eye. You can see the rib cage up right there. And you can see the tail bones, the vertebrae all the way back to his tail. There's the rib cage. Well, as soon as you see the peanut head, as soon as you see that, or you can see the peanut head, clear peanut head. As a community, we strive to protect our waters and wildlife. What the fuck are you talking about? And sea life? Who is this bullshitter? That's severe emaciation right there. Authorities have urged the members to avoid the area. Don't worry, the government is here to fucking help you. Stay away from the area. Even better, don't take pictures. That's what they really mean. Now, I can't guarantee I watched anything out of that picture, but if there's a bit of a blur, that's most likely because today was my first time trying to. But then again, if I had to watch that picture, I would have watched whoever it is up there out of the picture too, right? I wouldn't have just left it, so that wasn't me. What the hell is this? Oh, this is a blue whale. You're like, no, that's not a whale. I know what it is, but it ain't a whale, Dana. I hear you, but that's a blue whale. That's the biggest whale on the planet. That weighs 380,000 fucking pounds right there. I know what you're saying. Bullshit. No, scientists says it's the biggest whale on the planet. It's massive. Look at it. In whales, sea life is the only species that can denigrate to this catastrophic emaciation because they're buoyant by the ocean. But holy shit, eh? So when you're seeing the blue whales and the fin whales showing up in severe emaciation, and we've seen the most bizarre examples of that, and again, showing up in places they don't belong. In Morocco. Yeah, Morocco. It's a blue whale. Well, it was. They have a diet that consists almost entirely of krill. And krill are like shrimp, and these shrimp can live up to about 10 years. Right, they're like the size of your thumb, and they travel in the biggest packs imaginable, and they're a smorgasbord for all kinds of migratory species for extreme distances. They can eat 35,000 pounds of krill a day. 30 for the biggest ones. 35,000 pounds a day. And the younger ones and smaller ones will consume 48 tons krill daily during feeding season. See, huge numbers. So it couldn't find any food. That's why it's severe. It was alive when it came ashore. Which until 2025, 2026, I would have never guessed that they could be emaciated. Now we've seen them, but now we're seeing it symmetrical throughout the species. Excuse me. We'll pick up back here tomorrow night, maybe. I just realized what time it was. So this is a new one of our multi-dead whale species, recent pictures. I got to stop making pictures like this because I'm starting to have a nervous breakdown, I think. I think that's what's going on. Cause of the juvenile humpback remains a mystery. Probably starvation. It's just a wild guess. I'm only saying that because every whale we're seeing is starving to death. But you're only saying it because every whale we see is starving to death. You might have a point. I punched in a few extra minutes because we got booted off the internet by the looks of things earlier, which is very unusual for us. Even my camera was working. I went over and took a picture of the camera so I could stare at later, right? But the camera was working, but we also lost the camera picture. And I'm using, what do you call them? The SD cables? Fucking expensive cables anyway. They're not HDMI cables, they're SD cables. You gotta the bolt screw together. Right, they're meant for high transmission rates. Should we do a little recap of the... No, it's okay. I'll save that for tomorrow night. I put together like the folder's like a quick boo or whatever of the dead emaciated whales from the weekend. From the weekend, I think it's like 80, 85 clicks there. It's really something, eh? When you see people standing alongside these giant whales that are bigger and taller than the whales, that's called a fucking twilight zone. That's never supposed to happen. Everything we looked at tonight is not supposed to be happening. That picture there is not supposed to be real. That is 100% real, unfortunately. That picture there, a blue whale, the biggest on the planet, is not supposed to be real. That's never supposed to be able to happen. This picture here is not supposed to be happening. These whales here are so emaciated. Like denial is not a part of the equation anymore. And why am I way back there? I don't know. What the hell? Stop it. Extremely large peak of Fukushima radioactive material, significant amount of plutonium released for months. So these particulates, elements, these isotopes, you're talking about a snowstorm, blanketed the entire northern hemisphere. This was, that model is only based on 20 days. That's Neptunium-239 decays to plutonium. Just entertain me for a second. Just let me reinforce how fucked up these isotopes actually are on the human, for instance, and then you can magnitude it to all the species, and then because the blue whales and the fin whales, all whales are the mass bioaccumulation machines for anthropogenic man-made isotopes. We were always headed here, but Fukushima was a pulse event, so they deserve lots of credit. I'm burnt out. I apologize, everybody. I want to go to war. I'm tired of fucking struggling without, we know we're going to be censored. We know we're going to be ostracized. We know we're under siege and everything else, but we need, my brain, my gut, my soul tells me we need We need the world to get behind us so we can be strong and go to fucking war. You need someone that will go to war for you. I will go to war for you, I promise you. I swear on Zoe's grave that I will go to fucking war for you. I won't let you down. I will go to war and I will win. I will do it appropriately. I will do it legally. And I will take this fucking industry apart. I'll fix all of these fuckers very quick. Less than a year or two, everybody will be coming over to the winning side. And in the future, generation won't curse us as much as they're going to. And then we all done something very fucking worthy. I can, heavens forbid I pass away. I can pass away knowing that I done everything I could. I never stopped trying. I tried to plan for the future every second of the day so that we can keep the pressure, keep the truth, tell the story, acknowledge the harm, the danger, the monstrosity of this industry. This industry hates you and puppies and doggies and everything else. 144 beagle dogs. You know why they use beagle dogs? Because they won't bite the scientists, right? And they got big noses for sniffing death. That's what radiation is death. Death from radiation occurred 1.5 to 5.4 years after they poisoned the animals. Tumors, masses of the lungs, the skeleton, and the liver. So 3 different tumors from a single exposure of plutonium. So you expect to get tumors of the lungs, the skeleton, and liver. The bone tumors in 93 dogs were the most common tumors, cancers to kill the animals and the humans. And remember, you got poisoned by plutonium. Your children got poisoned by plutonium. Everything you coveted got poisoned by plutonium, minimum. Plutonium doesn't travel by itself, as I'll explain in a second. So they say the finding in the dogs suggests this is the United States Navy Loveless Respiratory Research Institute in New Mexico that does these studies, that done all of these particular studies on beagle dogs and beagle puppies and monkeys and that. They also, like when they say that similar dose-related biological effects could be expected in humans, I want you to appreciate the fact that it was discovered that human kidneys are 50 times less efficient than animal kidneys at removing the plutonium. That was a 1976 experiment. And so how that study stands true, right? That ingested by a plutonium worker over 50 years. There is no acceptable amount, right? It was discovered that human kidneys are at least 50 times less efficient than the animal, and all the animals died. And then another big part of the problem is, and clearly, let me bring up a better depiction of that one for you to finish this out tonight. Am I into overtime mode yet or what? Oh shit, we're still... we're kind of in overtime. But we lost out, so we got to make up for it now, don't we? This is the plutonium study, Neptunium-239. This decays to plutonium. 50% of that decayed every 2.5 days. Does that 10 times. And so this is day 20, day 21. So in 4 more days, all of that becomes plutonium. Now, plutonium never stopped coming out for months. This was just a 239, which decays to plutonium-239 after 25 days. It's all decayed. But every 2.5 days, 50% decays to plutonium, right? 239. So, like, if you think for 1 second that these studies are not applicable to you, I want you to remember that curium isotopes, which is the United States Navy study, Loveless Respiratory Research Institute, New Mexico, are the major byproducts in radiated nuclear fuel rod is curium isotopes. And curium isotopes You need lead shielding 20 times thicker than you do for plutonium. So that plume, that plume is, there's more curium is the biggest byproduct, not neptunium. And we have all the other studies, actual documentations of the radioactive fallout. And so there would have been 220 million atoms per cubic meter liter of rainfall of iodine-129. 220 million atoms per liter. And that same liter would have been 20 million atoms iodine-131. And it would have been 10 times more iodine-132 and 30 times more iodine-133 in that same sample. It's not just neptunium or the plutonium or the iodine-129. The same studies are showing us cesium-137 in the exact same plume as, like, if you just had cesium, it would have been, it looked the exact same way. This was the French government model based on, and I'm just going to move it ahead to 20 days or so. That's 23 days. That's, say, 20 days right there. That's cesium-137, invisible snowstorm. That doesn't mean it's not there. That don't mean it went away. Just because you can't fucking see it, or smell it, or hear it, or feel it, or taste it, or touch it, or pick it up, or throw fucking rocks at it. It's still there. And it's going to be there forever and ever and ever in comparison to the human experience. It doesn't travel by itself. It travels with everything else. Remember, the human kidneys are 50 times less efficient at removing any of these. And the biggest byproduct is the curium isotopes, not cesium, not plutonium. But that stuff still affects the whales the exact same ways as it affects you. It compromises your immune system. You're not able to uptake nutrition. You're producing so much white blood cells, you're displacing almost all your red blood cells. You're barely functional. You're dysfunctional. And because you're producing so least amount of oxygen, no matter which species you are, you become a bit of unpredictability because your lack of oxygen means you're inebriated. So you're more likely to do something stupid, even violent, or have accidents, or get into fights over stuff that would normally never, ever cause you to have any kind of interaction like that whatsoever. And like air rage skyrocketed after Fukushima, and that's what we estimated would happen, same as road rage. And the extremes too, right? When you're looking at this skeleton of a blue whale, that's what we're going to pick up tomorrow when we come back. Tomorrow night we might also, if I don't lose my fucking mind between now and then, and tomorrow night we're going to get another fucking major snowstorm with a major brutal cold front coming in. And the world needs to help me. They need to get behind me. They need to support me. Look, I'll do the fucking, I'll go to war on a drop of a hat, but we're barely functional. We don't have, like I'm talking to new people only, we can't maintain this operation. I'm going backwards for the last 2 years straight. Everything is breaking down. It was never meant to last this fucking long. It was meant to be replaced. I should be out on the ocean every year for fucking months. I should be out there in the wintertime. You know, we don't even have a function engine on the fucking research vessels anymore. We ran it to Alaska for 6 fucking years and killed it. That doesn't mean the operation is dead. It just needs a new engine or a replacement or something. Normally, you would never have this conversation because people would be supporting you. You would just, if something broke, you fucking replace it. There's nothing normal, unfortunately, about what I do every day on top of that. What I do every day is the weirdest fucking job on the planet. I got the weirdest job on the friggin' planet. And we don't see the concern through the academic community about these catastrophic emaciations. We don't even see the acknowledgement. It's a fucking ship strike. Narratives. Most whales die ship strike or entanglement. Ship strikes and entanglement don't cause this stuff. Symmetrically throughout all the fucking whales. That's a bit of a shocker for the academic community who got their head up their boss's arse their whole fucking life. But come over and look in my little, walk a mile in my fucking shoes for a couple of days. The world needs to go after this fucking industry. At what point are we going to stop living in denial? Or what point are we going to stop pretending that this is going to fucking work out? At what point are we going to pretend that, or what point are we going to realize we're going to have to go after this industry? We're going to have to get in their fucking face. We're going to have to be effective. We're going to have to have a force to fucking reckon with. We need a force that can reckon with this industry. We need somebody out there, find somebody out there that's in a position to go after this fucking industry and willing to do it, and I'll give them every piece of equipment I fucking got, and I'll go out and collect fucking beer bottles every day. Whatever money I make, I'll fucking send it to them every single day so they can get out there and get in their goddamn fucking face. Excuse the language. How can the world sit in silence and look at that and not think that that is unacceptable? How can the nuclear industry, for even 2 fucking seconds, look anybody in the face and say they work for the nuclear industry? How does that work? I appreciate everybody letting me listen to me rant tonight. They're not getting away with it. Don't let them get away with it. Don't have that burden on your fucking shoulder for the rest of your life. Don't let this industry get away with this. Their deaths, the whale species and all the other species, extinction, extermination. This is an extermination we're looking at. This industry needs to be fucking challenged. And there's not a single person out there with traction. There's less than a handful of people that are trying their best. And it's not working. We need to go all in on this industry. We need to get in their fucking faces. We should be doing a 24-hour network on this stuff. We should have a big public relation team pushing this stuff out there in every direction so they can't hide no more. There should be conversations. There should be protests in every fucking university of this industry. It's coming at some point. And every day that we don't have this up and running is a betrayal to the only home we got. Our home is being exterminated, and we're next. And we need to reply appropriately. And I'm very appropriately type of a guy. I can be that guy. Believe you for me. I got no fear of this fucking industry at all. I got no respect for it either. Not even fucking contempt for it. Which means I'm the perfect guy. I'm him. I'm just kidding. We're going to end it on a pretty cool song. It's called... We're going to do The Stranding of the Flirts. Stranding... Oh, the Flirt or something. I'll try to find a link and put it in the description for you before the song is over. A whale rescue group prolonging whale suffering because they're too emaciated to survive anyway. Or actually, James put out some pretty fucking good stuff the weekend. Let's just talk about that for a second. He's one video away from 500 anti-nuclear songs. So the BKK, this is really good, by the way. He's got some really hip stuff going on. We'll play that, and then we'll play The Stranding of the Flirts. And this one right here is a fantastic song, The Enrichment of Uranium. And Decommissioning is really good, Medusa. No Bugs on the Glass is what we started off on. We'll play everything. Yeah, let's play everything. Fuck it. Let me see. This one's got such a great... Oh, I thought it was on screen. My apologies. This one got great... This was the new reactor. They just started up in Japan, right, which is on a tectonic plate that ruptured January the 1st, 2024, right? The Nodo Ishikawa Prefecture, Nagano Prefecture. And this is fantastic. The Decommissioning Medusa. And Fall Asleep Fast to the Enrichment of Uranium. That's fucking amazing song, actually. We got to play that. I'm going to play all of them. I'm just going to be an asshole. I'm going to play that one. Then I'm going to play this one. I'm going to play that one. And then I'm going to play Stranding of the Furts after that. Sue me. A great night. We'll see everybody on the next show.
アラームが鳴ったシーケンスが始まってる。何が引っかかったの？
制御棒位置の信号が不安定です。センサー異常かもしれません。起動を中止する。原因が分かるまで6号機を始めておく。
This is really good. Once you get started, it's awesome.
Listen, start it up, shut it down, start it up, shut it down. Committee calm, protocol church, relay ticks up, stays on. They sort of come back like a photo op. Then a board talks back, red lights pop. You don't kick it over, you don't try again. You don't tag a reactor into being your friend. And the locks don't care what the camera needs. When the system says stop, it keeps receipts. Vacate, shut it up, vacate, shut it down, vacate, shut it up, vacate, shut it down. This ain't a resort, this ain't a show. Still has rules and it runs the flow. One alarm can erase your whole parade. That's not debate, that's physics play. Control ride pull, alarm it's first. Room goes rigid, don't make it worse. A day later and it's off again. Investigating is the loop they're in. Xenon stacks, neutral funds, restart window moves. You don't muscle past it, you wait and prove. Hours to peak, then a slow unwind. You don't win that fight by yelling at time. They'll say minor, they'll say routine. If it's a restart, they couldn't stay clean. If it was so simple, why hold next day? Why no day when they clear the way? Try again, day. That's a game. D-line, red line, same old way. No swagger makes a log out, and no slogan makes the trip on in. Restart, what? Alarm, what? Hell, what? Run it back. Restart, what? Alarm, what? Hell, what? That's straight way. VK, well, they stay down. Well, same old line. Well, same old down. Down, down, down. Outside, the voices to set the shine line. Hobby hero optics, look how it's fine. But the plan isn't a brand, it's a stress test. And it failed in front of every guest. Tour guide talk with a heart in face. Perfectly fine here, said like grace. But the fake ends when the alarms arrive. And the only thing steady is the pad outside. Green board, red board, green board, red board, green board, red board, green board. Click, 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 then the channel drops. Status stays pending, no date on the box. No victory lap, no back to normal. Just another haul made informal. Click, 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 then the channel drops. Status stays pending, no date on the box. No victory lap, no back to normal. Just another haul made informal. Restart, alarm, run it back. Restart, alarm, you don't get the blood physics. Hell, shut it down, start it up, shut it down.
stand still, then turn around. 3, 2, 1. Keep it clean, keep it calm. If it's sealed like they swear it is, why the warnings, why the checks, why the alarm? Flight panel supervisory, 2 seats, 1 crown. ATC never leaves, somebody swaps you down. Clean board religion, no alarms allowed. 12-hour watch, eyes locked, coffee band. Easy roll binder, page worn spine. Trip or safety injection, read the line. Rods drop, red lights, breaker opens fast. 30 seconds later, the turbines pass. How long to restart depends what tripped it. Xenon gas loads, peaks 8 hours. Drifts out slow, don't fight it. Condenser needs river, not just will. Variable pump set the flow by chill. Time of year decides what firm can do. Steam to the blades, then the weather tells you. You can't decommission Medusa. You can only box her up. Pour another ring of concrete, call it sealed enough. Don't drink, don't chew, don't linger long. Keep your eyes on the signs while the years roll on. You can't decommission Medusa. You can only stand watch. Out on the pad, rows like monuments. Different tops, different vents, same permanence. Short can over there, unit 1's last. Back in the day, say it proud, say it fast. GTCC section, see how the top is different, like a museum label inside the fence line. Distance, heat shimmer off the lid in winter air. Lot of heat still coming off the fuel there. Plan isn't perfect, issue water in the inlet path. Pull the plugs at the screen, say problem solved and laugh. Why a deep repository, perfectly fine right here. Heritage washing custody into a souvenir. Just don't lick it, that's only x-rays. Dose by a flight comparison to wash the day away. Smallest footprint, parking lot size. But the lights stay on when the plant goes offline. You can't decommission Medusa. You can only box her up. Pour another ring of concrete, call it sealed enough. Don't drink, don't chew, don't linger long. Keep your eyes on the signs while the years roll on. You can't decommission Medusa. You can only stand watch. Clean board, clean exit. Turn around, 3, 2, 1. The plant goes dark, the pad stays lit. You can't decommission Medusa. 3, 2, 1. Decommission Medusa.
This is enrichment. A sorting process on an infinitely small scale, performed by machines of immense scale. It begins where all such stories begin, with a relatively poor ore, lifted from underground or open cast, 1 to 3 kilograms per ton, and concentrated by a long chain of chemical changes. The uranium changes form. It changes color. It becomes a concentrate, then a compound, then another, until at last it becomes uranium hexafluoride, a substance chosen not for romance, but for function. A compound that can be persuaded into a gas and made to circulate. It is shipped in heavy containers. It is weighed, logged, sealed. Its movement is ordinary only in appearance. Because what travels is not merely a chemical. What travels is a responsibility and the discipline required to keep it contained. Natural uranium contains two isotopes. One is rare. It is the one that sustains fission. The other is abundant. It is the one that fills the remainder to build fuel for light water reactors. The rare fraction must be increased, not by a single leap, but by 1,000 small exchanges. The principle is simple. The enriched product leaves on one side. The depleted remainder leaves on the other. The exchange is repeated in series, a cascade of stages, each producing an almost imperceptible change, yet together producing a measurable result. Here, the vocabulary becomes industrial. Modules, stages, diffusers, compressors, heat exchangers, cooling circuits. At each compression, the gas heats. At each stage, that heat must be removed. Cooling is not incidental. Cooling is a continuous partner to separation. It runs as long as the cascade runs. Electricity is not a footnote. Electricity is the operating condition. A plant of this type does not sleep. It draws power continuously. To move gas, to compress, to cool, to repeat, to repeat, to repeat, the scale is impressive. Not as spectacle, but as necessity. Thousands of kilometers of barriers. Halls arranged in groups, groups arranged in buildings, buildings arranged around the demands of flow, pressure, and maintenance. A group can be isolated. A stage can be serviced. The cascade is designed for continuity, and continuity has its cost, not only in megawatts, but in water, in heat, in access, in surveillance, in accounting. Because every stage, every valve, every seal belongs to a system that must remain disciplined for the product to remain defined. At the far end, the enriched stream emerges, the same chemical as it entered, but with a different composition, a small increase in uranium-235 made large through repetition. On the other end, the depleted stream emerges. It is also defined by repetition. The more thoroughly one side is enriched, the more the other side is depleted. The depleted material is not an afterthought. It is a growing inventory. It has mass. It requires storage. It persists as a record of the exchange. It is not dramatic. It is simply there. And it accumulates. From enrichment, the product moves onward to fabrication. Powder to pellet, pellet to rod, rod to assembly. A familiar conclusion, but enrichment does not conclude at the pellet. Because enrichment is a ladder. Its rungs are technical, but its consequences extend beyond technique. The same methods that produce reactor fuel define a pathway that must be governed, because the difference between rungs is not merely a number. It is a change in what the material can become. For that reason, enrichment is never merely chemistry. It is also policy. It is also custody. It is also verification. It is also the choir architecture of control. Who may enter, who may measure, who may seal, who may ship, who may account for every cylinder. This is not a flaw in the process. It is part of the process. The enrichment plant produces fuel, and at the same time, it produces obligations. Energy demands, cooling demands, security demands, inventory demands, and the requirement that the story remain orderly. Because the story must remain orderly for the enterprise to remain stable. At the end of the chain, the product appears simple. A small pellet, a neat assembly, a core prepared for power. Behind it, an immense system continues to operate. Quietly, precisely, and continuously turning small differences into large outcomes and turning large confidence into a permanent responsibility.
Come gather, good people, I'll sing ye a song of whales on the shoreline, laid heavy and wrong. The tide bore its burden, a sorrowful sight. The strandings o' the firth in the dead o' the night. They came in their hundreds, the dolphin, the whale, driven to shallows with a sorrowful tale. The learned men muttered on nets and no noise, but the seas bear a tally that none can disguise. So order a hop and a half at the bar. From Fukushima's waters, the fallout sails far. Clap hands on the table, let everyone ken. The strandings o' the firth mark the folly o' men. They'll talk all the weather, they'll talk all the storm. They'll scribble their numbers to keep with the norm. But the count only rises, the carcasses show a reckoning carry wherever tides go. From Rasse to Moray, the tidings run grim. The porpoise and mink now drift at the brim. Yet silence in council halls buries the cost, for silver and power would sooner them lost. So order a hop and a half at the bar. From Fukushima's waters, the fallout sails far. Clap hands on the table, let everyone ken. The strandings o' the firth mark the folly o' men. And if ye should wander the shoreline at dawn, where once the great singers and dancers had gone, remember the silence, remember the sound, the strandings o' the firth where the warning is found. So order a half and a half at the bar. From Fukushima's waters, the fallout sails far. Clap hands on the table, let everyone ken. The strandings o' the firth mark the folly o' men. So order a half and a half at the bar. From Fukushima's waters,